This is Lokesh. Because of PCEC now here I am presenting. So this is a .NET internship. So here we going to see that what is a .NET framework and how we are going to utilize. What are the benefits we are gain from .NET? How the industries is look to involvement of development the .NET and how that recruiters have give a more interest to recruit the people who are the .NET developers. So those basic things in this session we're going to see. Okay. Actually, in this session we were covered. We are split up in the three categorized. This first session we're going to see overview of .NET and what is the benefit of .NET. These benefits we can think that industries how they look the people to recruit the recruiters how they are more willing to take peoples. So those and all we are covered in the benefits. And session 2, the demo project creation and how we handling the database, how that our front end back end is work. Then here itself it covered the Windows application as well as the web application. And the third session it is live hosting. In this live hosting we can convert our source code, which is we are developed the Windows application as well as the web application. That too we are converting. What is a Windows application? We are converting as the exe file. That is called the softwares. So everyone uses the softwares. So that is called exe. Next, if it is a web application, we are hosting our web application into server by the help of IaaS. So these are the basic things we are going to see in the session. So might be it is more helpful overall here overall learn from this internship. Might be more helpful in our upcoming whether you are going to higher studies or you are going to join any other companies. That too it is more helpful. Okay, first we start with the introduction. Okay, this introduction we are categorized the basic things and overviews and alls. First one is what is .NET. So in this we are saying what is .NET and why we need the .NET. Then what is a framework and a little bit some basic introduction about the framework and what is framework is provided to us and what is the compiled process, how it's a framework is running on the background, and what is the JIT, just in time compiler, so how it work and what is it mean by that, and the technologies to be helps. It's how the .NET is help to us to grow our skills and grow our technologies. So that and all we're going to see in the technologies and how it used in industry. So it's mean industries how it used because any development or whatever maybe you are developed as a software or web page and application, everything we are only developing for the end user. So industry is nothing but he is an end user. Okay, how would you used to do the end user? Because end user only bring it us to develop the new technologies, and they give a more involvement to bring it the new technologies. So that's why we are here for developing the softwares or web application. So must we have to know what is the use of the industry. So that too we are a little bit explanation given on this session. Next, the first one is what is .NET? Okay, here .NET. So the meaning of .NET, what does it represent? we are called as .NET. So it represent in this we are split up the dot and net. So everyone knows net is a global one. Okay, so the net stands for network enabled technologies because before that we are not much more using the internet. Nowadays, everyone, top to bottom and nook and corner, we are using the internet. So here, the net stands for the network enabled technologies because all the networks, some of the technologies working behind that, and dot it referred to object oriented because this .NET is an object oriented language, programming language. So that why is the dot is represent the object oriented. So the complete meaning of .NET is that the object-oriented programming we are developed based on our internet applications. So how our object-oriented programming to work with the global internet and what are the usage, how the technology is grown up. So that to represent. And here why we go for .NET because it is a cross-platform and open source develop platform for building the many different type of applications. See platform. So in the platform means we are having the more developers because we having a C developer, C++, Java, Python, then Android, then .NET. It is in the .NET is a VB, VB.NET, and ASP.NET. We have a many platform. So we think that this all platform before we are think that this all platform we can't able to bring it in single. It means single ID, single development. But here the .NET has achieved that cross platform. Here we can possible to design. Here we can possible to write the code based on like we can here using the JavaScript, JQ, and Java, J Sharp. So everything we can possibly utilize. So that's why we called it is a cross platform. And next, it is a multiple language editor. Like we can possibly develop the web as well as a mobile and desktop application. It is called a Windows application and a gaming application. Those and all we can possibly done on here. Next, here it is a website and a web application as well as a crash Windows. So that too we can possible to using by the help of support of .NET. And the final one is Xiaomi. So it is before we are developing the application. It is for mobile utilizing purpose. We are developing the application that is Android application and BlackBerry and Mac OS. Like we have a multiple platform to develop the application because we have a different type of devices. But now we bring it like nowadays we call a hybrid. So many of the people may hear that hybrid. It means like we not develop the application in the native code. For example, we are developing the Android application. It is only run with Android. We are developing the based on the Java programming. We are developing Android application. But in Jamin, what it says it is a hybrid. We developing the application source code and all. We are developing by the help of .NET. But it may we can possible to convert to Android as well as Mac as well as BlackBerry. So what we can possible to convert. So that is called hybrid. So this is a difference between the native as well as a hybrid. Okay, so that too we can possibly done here. And next, why we need .NET. So already I defined this. This is a open source developer platform, and we can possibly build a different type of application. So that's why we are need .NET. And here we having two type of it is VB.NET and ASP.NET. VB.NET is a Windows application, and ASP.NET is a web application. So here our new technology, it is a framework 4.5. It is bringing the .NET MVC. So this is nowadays that industries as well as the developers are more willing to learning the MVC. It is a model view controller. That is a new technology. So nowadays all kind of web applications and other application also we are built based on the MVC. Before that also that MVC is there, but it is a customized one. Now the .NET itself, they are our 4.5 framework itself, they are providing the how we are handling the MVC. So that technology also now they are improved. Next, framework introduction. So framework, it is designed by Microsoft. So .NET everyone knows it is designed by Microsoft, and the first beta version was released 2000 and 2002 is launched. So these are the history of the framework. And what is a framework? So, framework is nothing. It is nothing but it is a collection of many small technology that integrated together to develop the application, and it can execute anywhere. Okay, which means like a framework, it is a some of the many small technologies and all it integrated with a single framework. Okay, and it can be executed. It is that's why we called it is a common language runtime. Okay, that is why we are say the .NET is a cross platform. It might be run with different platform. And in that framework we categorize in the two. What is that? FCL, it is a framework class library, and CLR, common language runtime. Okay, that FCL, framework class library, it is what mean by the framework class library. You know that simple thing. Library, why you are using library? It is a collection of books. In generally we say library. What is mean by library? It is a collection of books. So same, it is stand for collection of classes, because before what we did, now we need some some plugins we need to include, or some coding we have to return. That is, we are every time whenever we are creating a new forms, we are return the all relevant codings. Okay, so now it is elimination, because why we are need to eliminate every forms if we are written the same coding. It means it lead our developer time as well as the execution time. It also increasing. Okay, and the performance also it getting slow. So that's why we are repeated coding we need to avoid. So that purpose we are generate the DLL. Okay, libraries, it is contain the all relevant repeated coding we can possible to avoid, and also execution time we can possibly increase. So those and all it is relevant all technologies. Most more technology we are included as a DLL, and that too is incorporated with the framework. And next, CLR, it is a common language runtime. Here whatever source code, because .NET is a cross platform, we can develop in different languages coding we can possibly write here. So how it run? See, if it is Java means we are using the Java engine to run that application. If it is a VB, we need that VB engine to run the application. But it is a cross platform. So we required bridge of common language, because any language we can possible to execution here. So that's why we need that CLR here. So here the CLR acts the interface between the framework and the operating system, because our source code it converting to machine readable code. Whatever maybe we are written the source code, the CLR convert the source code to machine readable language. It is a metadata, correct? So like it is conversion. This is the work of the CLR. And here we having the version of frameworks. At present, I think 5.0 is released, but at present we are utilizing the 4.8. It is released on 2019. So these are the versions which is released by the Microsoft for frameworks. So these all some of the new technology they are included, and they are overcome the previous issues, and they are incorporated with the new technologies. All together they are releasing the new versions and all. See, this much of version is there. Even we are using till .NET 2019 is released that IDE, and from the 2005, 2008, 2012. So like we have many versions of frameworks and IDE also. Okay. And what does .NET framework provide to us? So we can develop our console application here, and Windows apps, and Windows presentation foundation WPF apps, that too we can possibly develop here, and the ASP.NET apps and services, that Windows services also we can possibly to develop, and the service oriented apps using the Windows Communication Foundation WCF, and workflow it is enable the apps using the Windows Workflow Foundation is a WEF. So these are the features provided by the frameworks. And here you see that Windows services. So what is mean by services? In everyone nowadays we are using the systems, the desktop or laptop. So we are using the systems. Even whenever you are turn on your system, in background some of the programs are running. See, that is not running like we not giving any command, but it running. How it's running? Because of services. Whenever you are turn on your systems, the background services and all, it automatically started. So that's why Windows, before the Windows screen is appear, some of the programming, some of the softwares, you can call the softwares, okay, some of the softwares, some of the application, it is running on the background. So that is all based on the services. So that services also we can possible to develop here. Okay. Compiler works. Okay. How would the compilers work? See, in .NET we have one or more languages we having, like Visual Basic, C Sharp, and Visual C++, and JScript, and JQ, JSON. Like we have many languages here. In this, we have a MSIL. It is one of the compiler. So in this MSIL, we are developing the Microsoft Intermediate Language Code. That is what mean by MSIL. It is a Microsoft Intermediate Language Code. So it is MSIL. It converting our source code to how the machines it read our commands. Okay, so that is what it done. Here I did some flowchart, some diagrams here. So in this diagram you can see we may understand while seeing this diagram. So here, first, it is a source code. Source code means we are developing our own code. It is whether it is C sharp, PB.NET, other than other than that JQ scripting, whatever may be. So those and all convert as a bytecode. This is a metadata. It is done by compiler. So it is called a common language runtime. Before we are seeing that CLR. So that works done by here, and next that CLR2 it's going to change over native code. So that is called a runtime. So until our source code is converting to metadata, it is a compiler. After the compilation done, then is going to runtime. So here you can see the source code is converted to compiler. Then compiler change the compiler source to bytecode. It is called metadata. It is mean we can see simply it is a machine readable code because we giving a command, but machine how they know the command. So that is called a machine readable code. So this is works is done by the compilers. Next, what is JIT? JIT and how it's work. JIT is like just-in-time compiler. It is one of the compiler, and it is a part of the CLR. Okay, it is responsible to managing the execution of .NET programs languages. At the compiler, it is a convert the source code to intermediate language. That intermediate language convert the code to machine code. Before I seen that machine readable code. So that is happening here. See the similar before than here some elaborated. Before we are seeing that images, some overview. Here some more elaborated. Okay, first step it is a compilation. In this compilation we are developing our own source code. Then it is convert to metadata. It is called before we are saying MSIL. And next it is convert to JIT. Actually JIT compiler we take the code and it goes to native code. It is a machine readable code. Then that machine is execute our commands. Then the result is go to via that compiler it going to user. Okay, so this is a work. This is a bridge having by .NET and the JIT workers. This is okay. So here I give us some hints. The JIT compiler convert the Microsoft, it is a MIL, Microsoft Intermediate Language or CIL into the machine code. This is done before that CIL can be executed. Okay. So this is the use of JIT. And that programming language. So here in .NET and basically we are developing the C# coding as well as Visual Basic. It is a VB.NET and FH. So these are the basic programming language which is we are using in the .NET. C# means we are similar like C, C++, Java and JavaScript programming. It is a relevant coding of Java. And Visual Basic it is a more user friendly and it is a easily human readable language, like more hints it's given by the PB. And here some of the example by the programming language. This is a C# and this is a VB.NET. C# we are you see you are developing the if you are developing the Java application, whenever we are start our new Java programming, that time we have any programming in the Java, any coding in the Java, first we have to return the main. It is a main class we are done. So similar like the same. And here VB and VB done some of the differences. Here we called int, we are declaring the variable as a int a, and in VB.NET we are using the keyword as a dim and as a integer. It is a declaration part. Then a is a variable. We are converting to any readable code to integer. That is a console.readline is the reading the code from the, for example, we can say it is a input. We can getting the input from the user. Then the input is converted to integer. In C# we are giving a conversion method is int.pass. In VB we are doing a conversion of the integer pass, integer.pass. This is for example only. We can utilize in many data types. We can use in possible. And the console.writeLine, it is for printing the our inputs or in printing our given inputs. So that is comes under the console.writeLine. And here you know that very well. We are giving some command printing the value a equal to. Then we giving here we put here we done with the concatenation. So what we did our string variable. Then we including our reading value. So that's why we are done here the concatenation. In C# we are using this symbol, and VB.NET we are using the different symbol. So that is both concatenation only we are done here. And how industries work. Okay. Okay, still we are seeing the some overview of .NET. Till now we are done. What are the some of the overview of .NET and how it's the .NET's work and what are the compilers we are used there and how we are converting our programming our source code to native code and how it convert to machine readable code, how we are giving the command to machines. Those overview before we are seeing. And now it is how our .NET or how our developing programming, not only the .NET, is commonly we say how our programming language it is used to in industry or end user. We are saying that industry also it is one of the end user, but the terms we are saying that the end user or industries or banking sector, whatever may be the user, end user. Okay, how it is used for end user. Okay, first I say I call as an industry. Okay, in industry they are followed two kind of packages. Okay, first one is ERP. It is a enterprise resource planning. Okay, next is a SAP. It is a system application and a product in data processing. Okay, what is mean by ERP? What is mean by SAP? Why they are using the in industry? Okay, in industries, see we are having a many kind of industry. For example, we taken one every day, day by day, we are using the some of the products like we are using the vehicle, two wheelers, cars, and like TVs and all. We are using many things. We are day by day we are using those and all. It's manufacturing. Any product, it is a non-movable product. It is manufactured by someone, some OEM. Okay, so that's called the industries. And also banking sector also one of the industry. Banking sector means it is work and it's also one of the customer services. Okay, there also they are using the some their applications like mobile application and the payment application. Many applications they are using. In industry, we are saying that industry they are called the ARP and SAP. So everyone having their own ledger, their own entry. What are the process they have done? They need some own ledger. It is called in ledger called we are storing the data. Correct. In our terms, we are saying as a data. So any register or any entries that is we should maintain as a data. Okay. Before before the that digitalization and before the system development, the peoples are using the papers, right? Papers to return that ledgers, return the registries and all. Now we are changing in the registry to digital, correct? So we need some data how to keep whenever we want, wherever you want, however we want. So we need the data. So that's why we are go for the systems. We are believe the robots. Okay. So these and are done by the our applications, which is developed by us. Correct. See here ERP it is covering the whole industries. If you are implement one ERP application in our industries, it covering the start to end, like from the beginning of the product and is how to selling to customers. This whole process it covered by the systems. It is this process and all covered by the ERP. That package, full package, we call as ERP and SAP. SAP in the sense it is similar to ERP, but SAP is done by the European. Okay, okay, they are start the SAP implementation. It is a large level industries. They are using the SAP startup or developing companies or small level developed companies and all using the ERPs. OEM. OEM means it is the end of the manufacturing. Like for example, in car manufacturing, we says Tata, Hyundai, Maruti. They are called the OEM. They are using the SAP. It is a large level industries because based on their investment. Okay. So this is why. That's why before I say end user, how need end user the application. Okay, because we should whenever you are developers, we may know what need from our end user. Those we should know. Then only we can developing the application or a web application, whatever maybe we can possible to develop. Okay, in that application, we they are split up some of the categories. So these are whenever we are enter into the industry, we may know these are the steps is there. Like IMS, it is a inventory management system. It is inventory management system is nothing but you are even if you are going to any department store, there also they are maintaining the inventory system by the barcode. Okay, how many product is comes inside, how many product we having in the stock, and how many product is went out. This is in department store they are done some basic things. Whenever the industrial, they are using in a different manner. Okay, concept is same, but they are using in a different manner. So that is all covered in the IMS. That is a inventory management system. And next, supply chain management system. That is a SCM. So what is the supply chain management? So whenever we are procuring the material from supplier, for example, we have some small industries. So we need to build some, we need to manufacturing some products. We need to procure the base material. It is, for example, we need to manufacturing one water bottle. We take one water bottle example. So whenever we are producing one water bottle, we need to procuring some of the plastic raw materials and all, we need to procure. So this system covers from the procurement of base product and how it's convert to on end product, then what are the inspection, that quality aspect, what are the quality aspect we seen there, and after the quality aspect, whether it is passed or not, after passing it, where it should go, it mean customers, which customers goes, those and all covered, this all process covered by the supply chain management system. It is why we called a SCM. And next one is a CRM. It is a customer relationship management. Okay, it is what? Okay, it is a, whenever we are dispatch a part, whenever we are selling the some product, we need to get we need to track. For example, here we say the some example. If we are go on store, we are procuring on TV. Okay, in this TV is manufacturing by whatever some brand. Okay, we are procuring the some brand. If any failures, what you are did, you are again call that customer cares, or we are claiming the warranty. So that industry or our developing system, it not goes the end. Whenever we are selling, that is the end. Not until our warranty, until the customer satisfaction, it should be followed. Okay. So these and all covered by the CRM. Customer satisfaction. We can say simply, we can say this is the customer satisfaction and the customer aspect. Those and all covered by the CRM. And next, HRMS. It is a human resource management system. It is might be the people's or all people's may know, like human resource, employment. Okay, how many employees are there working here, and what is their activities, and what is their experience, what is their salary, and the pay slip generation, everything and all covered by the HRMS. And next, MRP. So manufacturing resource planning. Which means, before I say that one example for water bottle, the same thing we can take in here. Need a water bottle, we need to plan. For example, this month I have to plan to sell 5 numbers of water bottle. So I have to plan to produce. I need to plan to manufacturing 500 products. It is which based of planning. Whether customer giving a planners or my hope I have to plan it. So that planning system, as well as if 500 product we need to procure, means what are the materials we need. This is all covered by the MRP. And next, MES. It is manufacturing execution system. Okay, it is called industrial nowadays. It is an industrial 4.0. It's mean full of digitalization. So now we come up with, after your studies, you are whenever entering into the industry, might be you are more important on it. We have to more give a important in the MES, because it is more role play in the industries nowadays. Because before that, MRP, HRMS, CRM, SCM, the inventory management, everything's already we are done. Many of the industries already they are done. Now the industry is in the state of MES, that is industrial 4.0. What is mean by industrial 4.0 or MES? It is all kind of manual works or paper works or our mind calculation works. Everything is converted to digitalization. Okay. Now you say we are not we are developing the software and applications. That software is not only the purpose of viewing or just data storing. Not only for that, here we can possible to communicate with the machines or some commands to machine robots. We can possible to communicate. See, we are having some temperature system nowadays due to COVID. So many of the like shops we having some temperature reading system. That is how it's work. So temperature reading is a sensor, that is one of the device. That device from we get the data. So that is called a communication. So here, by the use of .NET, we can possible to communicate with the systems, our machines, our devices. We can possible to communicate. We having a many protocols. Okay, but now industry why they are focusing here. Before I say some example like a water bottle. So in this water bottle, it's not comes in the hand. Some machines are work here. Some machines are manufacturing there. Then only the product will comes out. So our system, what they did, it instruction given to machines. What our system to machines. And the system means our application. We are developing the application to instruct the machines, robotics. We can possibly give a instruction. Okay, and also we can read the data from the machines. Okay, next slide I will explain that. See, here we can, you may understand more easily. Before we are having a ERP, here we can covering that all kind of activities by data and human inputs and human returns and human knowledge, those and all done on before. Now the machines, many of the industrial they are changed in the machines because they are focusing only for saving the benefits. So we have to give a option to them, make their work in easy. How, what is our, we have to develop the application. Purpose is make the end user work is easy. That purpose we are developing the application. So here the MES done did play in the many roles to communicate the machines and robotics. So in this case, we can possible to avoid the human errors. Okay, we can't able to 100% we can't able to store about our data. So the peoples believe the machines. Machine is not work its own. We have to instruct. Okay, that instruction how it's go by our applications, by our developing applications. So in this scenario, the peoples more think the how make our work is easy. So the industries they are giving a missions. We giving that applications or softwares to interact with machines. This is called MES. Okay. So might be you are entering into the industry, you may more interesting on it. And recruiters looks for, okay, before we are seeing that industries how why need the our development, why we are developing the products or why we are developing the application, web application and all for end user. That is before seeing. Now recruiters what they look, okay, from our .NET developers. See, first one was C#. So instead of VB.NET, the developers, the recruiters more look, more involvement on C#. Okay, so that's why we are more the developing companies, the program developing companies, they are only focus on C#. And next one is entity frameworks. Entity frameworks, it means it is relevant to data storage, data integration, data connection, database connection, that covered in the entity. Before we are some giving a command to connect the database, but in entity framework, before while we are start run the application, this all data to come enter into the application. By this entity framework, we can save our execution time, because if it is we are not using any entity framework, we are developing an application. In front end we giving a some command. For example, I can register my employment id in our website. So I given some of the inputs like a name, my personal details and all. I give a input. After the input, it went to database. It is a validation. After the validation, it goes to database and it triggering something. Then it comes to the response. So this is like it happened. Now entity framework, while build the application, while we are start our application, it bring that all framework, all entity into the application. So the processing time and the execution time, it must reduce. So our application performance get high. Okay. And next, that ASP.NET MVC. Yeah, sure. It is MVC nowadays is a peak. Now it is MVC version is 4 and 5. It is released. Many of the recruiters they are seeing in MVC, because it is developing phase. In initial, it might be the complication, but once you are learn much, it is more easier and more easy to develop, as well as the performance wise is high. So the recruiter they are more focusing is MVC and SQL Server. So till we are discussing about that front end, but back end we are using the SQL Server, MySQL, and Oracle. We having a mini storage database. And here they are, because whenever you go for the Oracle, it is an expensive one. So in SQL Server, it is a more easiest, and the user can easy write the code, write the queries, and procedure and function and all. We can easily written here. And next, it is a full stack. It is nowadays this full stack is peaking on the recruiters. Okay, they are focusing more full stack developers. You may hear the full stack. It is like all, it should be covered, all kind of development covered in the full stack. Whoever says I am the full stack developer, they must to know the front end as well as back end. Okay, they have to design. They may know the coding, behind code, and they may know that back end as well as queries. They must know. Those peoples we called as a full stack. Before, how the peoples is recruit. If you are the designer, I need only designer. Okay, you are the designer of PHP, or you are the designer of web designer, or you are the designer of a Bootstrap. So the peoples recruit that Bootstrap. What is a designer people? Then they recruit that code behind people. You may know that C Sharp, Java, Python. So this is a code behind, and database. So like before, they are recruit the peoples on different manner, different kind of categories. But now they change the recruiting methodology. Now they go for the full stack. So in whenever you are entering into that industry, you may understand the people, how they are focusing to recruit the people, how they filtering the peoples, that may know. So this is the time to you learn in all kind of development. First you have to focus which platform you are going to do, and you should select now to which platform you are well. Okay, so that platform you have to focus, and we have to go there to grow your skills. Okay, if you are selection I am the .NET developer, in this .NET developer we have many categories, correct? So that should you have to select. If you go for only I am application developer, it is a mobile application developer, means you can possible in the .NET before Java. So there you can develop the hybrid coding. If you are going the I am the web designer, I am the web developer, so here you go for ASP.NET. In this ASP.NET you have MVC and entity framework. You must know. If you are the I am a DB handler, I am a database handler, you have to more growth your skill on database. In database we have many kind of queries nowadays, that procedure, functions, indexes, triggers. We have a many kind of terms in database. So that too you have to learn. If we are say the full stack, we have to cover the all. Okay, you may if you, one of the stage you may comes into the in this job, so you should know this all kind of thing. Whether you need to know that the all, but you have to know the basics. If you they giving you an application to develop, you have to develop the front end and the coding design, begin code, database, and testing. You have to done. That's why the recruiter nowadays looking for full stack. If you are well in the full stack, you may the TL. Okay, you can possible to lead the team. So before entering the job, you may select your platform, and now onwards you have to learn which platform you are selecting and which platform you are the well. Okay, so that too we are focusing here. Okay, these are the before I say the technologies. Right. So the recruiters before they are split up the technologies, like you are the framework, which platform, which framework in .NET means you can having a many versions from the 1.0 to 4.5 you have versions. So which version we are working, this is your first question, because each version wise the technologies differ, the working methodologies differ. So you have to learn the latest technologies. Okay. If you are learn the latest technology, you may put it from the 1 to 4.5, I know. Okay, so you have to learn the latest technology. If we are say I'm the C sharp, I'm the .NET languages, I'm the code behinder, which means you should select which code behinder you are. You know that C sharp, VB, .NET, or FX, or C++. These and all covered here. See, if you are say I'm the web developer, I'm the web frameworkers, which means you have to learn what is the ASP.NET and how it works with the ASP.NET MVC from version 1.6, 1 to 6, having a many technologies, many improvements in MVC. But once you learn, so it is a more growthable for you. And here we can develop APIs and web forms. Okay, if we are say I am the desktop frameworkers, so you must know that WPF as well as the Windows Forms and WCF, services, these and all covered here. And if you are say that I am the ORM, you must to know that entity framework and database SQL servers or MySQL or link to SQL. Those and all you have to know. Okay. If you are the tester, we have a some in trend. It is a testing methodology is different based on that developing companies. But you must know that basic things. Okay. And these are the building tools. We having a many building tools like .NET. We having a many building tools to build our coding. Okay. Now you are seeing Windows application. Okay. What is Windows application? Okay. Windows application is a run on desktop. For example, if you are downloading some software from internet, you are first doing, you are installing the softwares, correct? It is run within our desktop. Okay, so that is called a Windows application. Windows application is like we are building or make it live on exe files. Okay, that is called the setup files. It is run within the desktop. And in the Windows application, we have a collection of, while you are developing the Windows application, we have a collection of labels, text box, and the list box, and etc. tools we having. Because each framework wise, they are increasing the tools and they giving us some new technologies. Even we can bootstrap, we can utilizing in the Windows application. Many of the people may know that bootstraps. So bootstrap is one of the famous designing applications IDE. So that we can using here by Windows application. It is give us some good UI. Okay, the user interface. So that also we can possibly done here, and it helps to make a automation system. See, before I say that all industries they are go for the automation. They are changing into the manual to automation for make their work easy and make their data as a perfection, right? Because we need the automation. Human can't able to give 100 percentage of surety of data. Okay, anywhere, any mistake, anytime it may possible to happen. It is we are say as a human error. Okay, but while we are go for automation, we can possible to avoid those kind of errors. So that's why we are go for the automation. Okay, those automation systems we can possible to done Windows application also, correct? Because here we using the multiple protocols. See, TCP/IP. Okay, it is like a network protocols. Because you are sitting in here and the machines in the connected with the networks by the TCP/IP protocol, we can possible to communicate with the device. Okay, so that's why we are go for the TCP/IP protocols. RDU Modbus. Okay, this is also one of the protocols. This is by the cables. Okay, it may be connected the other RS-232, RS-4885. By this, we can possibly connect the device and systems by the wires. Okay, this is one of the protocols which is we are using in the industries. And this than that, we having a many ODBC, many protocols is there, but most properly, more or less, we are using the TCP/IP and RTU protocols. If you are learning these protocols, if you are learning to handle the application and the communication with the machines, you are the well in automation. Okay, because any devices or any machines or any systems we can possible to communicate. See, right? So those and all we made done in this protocols. And last one is a generic one. Developer can use drag and drop option to design the forms. Okay, that is very well. We if we are any forms we are going to develop, we just drag and drop that applications, and we can like inputs, whether if you are need that text box, or if you need the labels, or if you need that combo box or checkbox, whatever one, the all kind of tools has already defined by the framework. In .NET IDE we have those tools, and all we just drag and drop, and we can possible to done the design. And in code begin we can return our own. Okay, so this is some small explanation about the VB.NET. And next one, web applications. Okay, in ASP.NET, so web application means we are in .NET we call it as a ASP.NET. In ASP.NET is the web development platform which is provided by the programming model. Right. In programming codes, we can return the C Sharp and Visual Basic and JScript and JQ and JQ grids, JSON. This and all we can possible to done on ASP.NET. So multiple languages we can possible to bring it here. And there is a two kind of types. It is a server side and client side. Okay, client means it is users. Okay. Server, so whenever the user inputs or whenever the user responds request, that response rules is done by the server side. Correct. So in ASP.NET, the HTTP protocols it helps to run the ASP.NET applications, web application. So in this, we have some kind of state. It is page state and session state. Page state is a client. Client means end user. Okay. If you, for example, if you are going to fill some application in online, so you may open the application, like you open that website, and you may know that some certain type of inputs like your first name, last name, and your gender and your qualification, and what is your mobile number, what is your mail IDs, those and all. It is client side. That the inputs and all given by the end user in the forms. So that's all contained in the client side. Then what is a session set? It is collection of information obtained from the various pages. Okay. For example, if you are registered some your personal details in some websites, you may open the website, and in this website you may find your personal detail like your first name, last name, and what are the inputs they are given. You may fill that. Okay, that is page, that is called one of the web page. In that web page you giving a input. There only the validation of client side validation, like in if you are putting that mail id, in that mail id at symbol is must. How we are defining it is a valid mail id. You are done many registration in the website, but if you are wrongly any mail id are written there, the page says please enter the valid mail id. So how it is determined you are entering the wrong mail id? So in this uh, in this session you are putting the mail id content like for example abc at gmail.com. In validation you given us at and dot, it must there, and some more in-depth validation at must there, and dot com or dot in it must there. So by this validation only the system will consider, will validate your inputs. So likewise, like a phone numbers, it must be an alternate numbers. Okay. So these are all some client validation. It is done on our page itself. If you are done the all inputs, then finally you trigger the button. Okay. Register or submit or add any trigger button is there. So those button you are going to trigger the input. After input you trigger the button. So in this button what they some cookies, some you are entering the all data is collecting by the cookies in the session. Okay, that is storing in the temporary storage. It collecting your data and store it out in temporary places. For example, I say one example. If you are opening login into the any bank, it is a net banking. If you are logging in the net banking, you are opening the Chrome, and the Chrome you are putting the, for example, you taken as a SBI, you are going to, you are typing the SBI net banking, then you are entering your username and password. After that you trigger the login button, it is logged, and also you are logged into your dashboard home screen. Similarly, you open the next tab, not next tab, you are again opening, try to open your internet banking. While you are trying to open the internet banking, the system says already your session is running out. If you are need to open, please log it out. Your previous session. It is how it's work by the browser. Browser collecting temporarily, it is storing your data. Whether you are using the Chrome or Firefox or Safari or Opera, whatever maybe which browser you are going to use is not a matter. All browser is collecting your data. Okay, so while you are connecting your user inputs, so now you are trying to log in, that time itself the ticket is raised, your unique id, your unique session is triggered by the browser, that your unique reference are stored in the session on browser. So that's why the session is more important. You are saying you are the you are the hacker. So you are the hacker, you must know how you read the session. See, session is very important for temporary usage. So it is in this session you may having your all credential data. It's storing out your unique reference ID and is storing in the session. So that's why here you are written the session state is collective information obtained from your various pages the user visited and worked with overall session state. Okay, so these are the works are done in the page of application. Next, what is the life cycle of ASP.NET? It is an application oriented life cycle. So first, installing our request. Okay, whenever you start your page, the first stage is initialization. Then initialization of controls on the page. Okay, then restoring and maintaining the state. Whenever you are logging, the session is taken off your controls or your user information or your session time. For example, if I am developing any application, I given a session time is minimum 30 seconds. If you are not accessing our web page within the 30 seconds, the web page is logged out automatically. How it's done? It is by the session. This is by the state. Okay, it is storing your user credential, user login time. Okay, so it lead your time. The same that whenever you are logging into the banking web page, it is having certain time, 1 minute or 50 seconds. If you are not accessing the web page, whenever you are trying to trigger, whenever you are opening the web page again, it automatically logged out from your user. How it's done? By the session. Okay, it is capturing your duration of works, capturing your unique IDs and execution of the event handler codes. So whatever the coding are written, those and all is execution by the native code, and the servers must return or respond the user request. Finally is the page rendering. Next, detail of the ASP.NET life cycles. So these are the state which is happening to run our web application. Okay, whenever you are developing the web application, this all state should be done in background predefined. Okay, first you are run, if you are opening the web page, you are trigger or give us some input. This is page request. So when the ASP.NET get the page record, it decide whether to pause or compile the page. It means if you are trigger something or if you are give us some input, that compile the page is decide whether it will be passed, like before I explained that client validation. So for all client validation is done, then it goes to compile, or if any files it stop on the there and there. And starting of page lifecycle, at this stage the request and response object are steps. Okay, whenever the cycles the page is start to enter into the compile state, then the request and response object predefinedly set, because user they give me inputs and the page requesting the raise the request to server. The server or the compiler should respond the send the response to the user request. So the two stages, whenever the life cycle is started, these two stages it defined. Okay, and here one more we are written here is postback property of the page is set to true. What is mean by its postback? So it is duplication of request. Okay, we are, for example, you may the same you are do some payment transaction in your web page, or online booking or online payment you are done in your mobile app or web applications. So that time you may enter the all credential your web your payment relevant all credential you may enter. After that you make payment, it getting load to connect with the bank ID, it connecting with the bank sector. So sometimes the page response is getting down. So that time what you did, you are giving, even they are putting some note, don't refresh or don't go back until the page given a response. But if it is a go to unstead unresponse stage, we giving a refresh. So that time what happen, it again refresh, then you try to load the page. So in this case what happen, if without is post back, if you giving a refresh, your payment request will go in double time. Already you may done, for unfortunately the network will drop, or unfortunately the page is not rendering. But again you give a refresh, your all data, your payment detail, everything stored in the session or your temporary or your cookies, there's all data again pushing to your bank. If I said is post pack is false, then it won't happen. Okay, this is a live example. And next, page initialization. At this stage, the controls on the page are assigned unique ID by setting the unique ID property, and the themes are applied for new request. See here it decided the page is going to get a response. Okay, so we are initiating the page. Then whenever the page is initiation, the unique ID, before I saying that the unique ID are set to the particular request. Okay, if it is a new request, that ID will be set until the response is closed, until the page is rendering, that ID will be in the state stable. Okay. The next, the page load. At this stage, the control properties are set using the view state and control state value. Pages get loaded. Okay, that view state and the control state values are set the properties. Okay. And validation. Validation method will control the whether the execution is success or not, or it is a valid inputs is given by the users. So here in validation we having two kind of validation. One is a server side validation, another one is a client side validation. We having a two kind of validation which is we are done. So more or less the many developers may done in client side validation, because to avoiding the rendering time, requesting time. Because if you are done in the client side validation before triggers or before request is rising, we can possible to avoid, we can possible to validate, and we can stop. If your validation is not an effective, then every time the user hitting the server, for example, if I am not putting any mandatory field or any validation field on my pages, 1 hour if we, without any data return, I just to trigger the button, the data goes to server, it requesting to the server, and the server should respond the request like the process will go on. Then automatically our performance, our server performance getting down. So that purpose we are done in client validation. Okay. And next, post pack event handling. If the request is post pack, if it is old request, the related event handle is inward. Okay. Next, page rendering. It is this stage, view stage for the page, and all controls are saved and response property of page. So page rendering is final stage. So once it is all requests is sent to server and the server is validated, after that it is giving us some response. Then the response it is we have to showing to a end user. So that is a view state. That is called the rendering. And unload the rendering page is sent to the client and page properties such as the response request or unload the all cleanup is done. Here the unload is finally our unique ID is get erased and our session is get gone. So like this is the final stage. So this is the life cycle of ASP.NET. And what is two kind of validation? One is two kind is client side and server side. This client side means we can validate our data like in any invalid data. Before that is showing the saying that we having a validation as well as the code, the client side code and the server side code. Okay, if you are using the JavaScript code or if you are designing any view state design, those sometimes comes under the client side. And also validation, which is we are done using without rendering the page. What are the validation we done here? That is all comes together in the client side validation. And server side, it is a server side. It is like whenever the browser is request, then our server should respond. So in this case, in for example, in client side, we are using the hidden fields. Okay, and the hidden fields means like some of the blocks, some of the scripting and all we are written in the client side for designing as well as to make our programming in performance very high. So this comes under the client side. And the server side, that HTML server controls and the web server controls and validation controls and the user controls. Like we having a four type of controls we are using in the server side. Okay, so let we see the types. The HTML server controls. It is like we know very well in design. The basic thing is HTML controls. So here we can predefinely like inputs. You may know that text field or drop down, those and all we having already in the HTML. Those control also we can possibly use here. But if we are handling the code begin, for example, if you are giving a one input as a text field, then it is called in our terms it called as a text box. But in HTML we are giving a tag as input. That input type is text. So it is text value. So here we having a one more option is runnet equal to server. So why we are giving a runnet equal to server? So whenever we need to handle our client side controls into the code begin, you must given us a runnet server. So then only we can possibly to access those textures or those labels, whatever the controls in our CS. Okay. So that purpose we are using the runner server. And the web server controls like it is a ASP.NET is provide their buttons and text box and labels and checkbox, whether data grid and JQ grid and data list and a calendar like date and time calendars. Those and all are already predefined by the web server controls. So that we can possibly utilize here. And validation controls, it is like a user inputs. Okay, using some of the users they giving inputs for rendering our pages. So those and all after the request is rise and after the button is triggered, what are the validation is done, those validation is comes under the validation controls. And user controls, it is a own controls by embedding the web form controllers. It is our developers, we develop our own controls by the using of JavaScript or JQ. These and all covers in the user controls. And this is a final one short I explain here. ASP.NET MVC. Before I more give an explanation about the MVC and what is the usage of MVC. Now I give some brief explanation about the MVC. MVC is a design pattern. Okay, here we call as a MVC is a M is a model and V is a view, C is a controller. So how it works, like a user may raise the request, it is called a view. View from the user is raise the request, then our controller will decide the request is going to the database or the controller itself it will be decide whether that request is goes to model or not. If it is need, then the request is went to the model. For example, if you are adding the any data, that view is your user view. It is a UI user interface. Then user writes the request. That request is goes to controller. Controller decided the request is must to storing or must to manipulate the data in database. So those requests only they send to database, and the database will give a response whether the data is inserted or if any error, that is a response given from the model. Then the controller send the response to view. So this is small overview of MVC. Okay, because MVC is a huge one. Now I give a small overview only. This now trending concept, trending technology is MVC. Okay, and this is our final session. Here we have in tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we are going to see the basic coding, how it works, and how we are developing our basics coding, whether the Windows application or web applications, and corporate level training techniques, how they are like before I explained that the MVS model view control, MVS machine execution system, those and all how they are corporate level they are recording us. Those and all the upcoming classes, basic things we are explaining here. And here we having more than 60 plus courses relevant of .NET and job improvement. If you want, we can both write. And, okay, anyway, thanks for hearing. Thanks for hearing our internship. We'll see upcoming classes. This time better, and I hope this is more helpful to all students. Thank you for hearing. Thank you so much.